Good evening, everybody. This is not a video that I wanted to make. I think I had to make it. Lately, there's been a lot of news about young children killing themselves. In the last few days, there was a report of a 12-year-old girl who killed herself due to constant, non-stop bullying, including cyberbullying. Today, I read a report of an 8-year-old boy who took a tie and hung himself. So, this is very emotional for me. As a pagan and an ordained minister, the one thing I do is I value life. And so when I see young, innocent people getting harmed, such as what's happening, I get a little angry. I get real sad too. This should not be happening. Not in any way, shape, or form. These are little kids. They have not had a chance to live their life, and here they're ending it. And we got to figure out why. I have to place blame where I believe it goes to. That is 90% of it needs to go to the parents. 10% of it to the schools. But I have to say this because after all these reports that I keep on reading, I keep on seeing how the parents are blaming the fucking schools, and so they're going to sue the schools for their children killing themselves. And I think that's wrong. I think it's 100% wrong. Now, every case is different. Every case is unique. There are times where the school is refusing to do something. And if they are absolutely refusing to do something, yes, sue them. But I think there are too many times where the parent is doing jack shit. I'm a father, so don't you ever tell me, oh, you don't know what it's like to raise kids. I do. But I cannot picture an 8-year-old or 12-year-old not going home and telling their parents that something's wrong, something's hurting inside. I have a very angry sense inside of me that's going, how are these parents missing this? I mean, if you're around your children every day, don't you notice that something's wrong? And so I put in a video a long time ago about how parents are trying to be their kid's best friend. They want to be there, when everything's great, awesome, but when it comes to parenting, they're clueless. Well, this is a side effect of this. Okay? Parents have disconnected themselves from the parenting role, and so they don't know what happens, what needs to happen when their kids are going through hell. So parents need to start paying attention more to their kids. And that's just the bottom line to it. Now, there are cases where schools are refusing to do anything. I talked this over with my better half, and she reminded me that there are cases where parents were going to the schools, and schools were saying, well, our hands are tied. No, they're not. They have the authority to expel some of these kids. If they can show proof that these children are harassing, bullying other kids, expel them. Put them through detention. Make their parents aware of the situation. But we got so many people doing nothing, and the kids are suffering, and we got to stop that. We live in a society where we're putting kids in these little safety bubbles. We give them the delusion that everything is wonderful in the world. They get the participation trophies. We don't keep score. It's just a matter of fact that you tried type crap. We are turning overprotective. We are anal in television ratings. Well, this one has this guy using a candy gun. That's violent. I grew up with Yosemite Sam, who pulls out guns and shoots everything. Our kids, because they're in this protective bubble, it seems a lot of times at home, don't have the calluses, the tougher skin to handle these other kids. And so we have to not put our kids in these bubbles so that they're not ready for the real world. Because the sad thing is this, very sad thing, they got it easy right now. They do. Once they hit 18, they got to enter the work world and everything changes. How in the fuck are they going to handle that? They're going to have a hard time doing that. So, parenting approaches have got to change. There are so many things that we do because we want to isolate the children from any harm. Well, it's kind of like you got to be exposed to some of these viruses and all that to get an antibody developed for them. Well, the same thing has to go with dealing with people out there. So we have to do something to toughen up our kids. And we need to teach our kids some compassion. Our kids are so damn aggressive now. I grew up, knowing that kids can be dicks. Kids can be hard. Kids can be heartless. I got bullied when I was a kid. In school, yeah, I went through a couple hard times in my life. But I didn't kill myself. Gosh, there were probably a couple times I did feel like it. But I didn't. Because I got tougher. I got stronger. But kids are not taught consequences. Because so many parents are trying to be the best friends. They want to be there for all the good times and disappear during the bad times. We got to teach the kids compassion. We have so many people out there that are heartless, that they get their thrills off of tearing other people down. They don't understand how important it is to build up people. And this goes upon the parents as well. There are parents out there that want the schools to teach their kids manners, teach them how to do everything so they don't have to. We got too many lazy fucking parents out there. I did a video about extremism probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And this is it. We have reached the extreme here because we have kids that are put into ultra protection and some kids that are just told, you got to be aggressive to survive. You got to be aggressive, without compassion to achieve your goals. And they are hurting other people. The parents and the children that do the bullying need to start facing legal ramifications for their actions. There was one story where parents of a child that committed suicide sued sued a school for a set amount. They settled for $300,000, and this was to make a point. And you know, like I said, if they could prove the school was refusing to help, fine. But if they're doing this to, take the guilt off of their shoulders, screw them. We got to take care of the victims here. And right now, the first thing is taking care of the kids. But we also got to make sure these parents aren't looking for the scapegoat and suing the schools without just cause. Bullying is wrong. Now, a part of growing up is learning how to interact with society. Now, I'm a guy who has turned a complete 180 in my actions. Like I said, when I grew up, I was having some issues. I got bullied around by a couple kids. And now I am a little gruff. I am assertive. And sometimes I lack the same compassion that I think that more people should have. But I'm getting better at it. I am. But bullying and picking on somebody in some ways is two different things. If you have two people that don't really like each other, but they're doing their little snide comments back and forth, but on equal grounds, that's just two people not liking each other. And if it stays on equal grounds, it's just a part of life. You're not going to get everybody to like you. You're going to have some enemies, and that's just the way it is. Like I said, if that's all it ever amounts to, that's not bullying. What is bullying? Is when you have two or more people or a group of people daily harassing, attacking a person or another group and telling them that they are worthless, that they should die. That is bullying, and that has got to stop. So parents, you need to get your heads out of your frickin' asses and start monitoring what your kids are saying and what's being said to them. Many years ago, there was a large campaign trying to get parents, to watch what their kids were posting and interacting with online. This was to protect them from sexual predators, because there were a lot of reports of adult men and women acting as if they were 17, 18 years old and trying to convince younger boys and girls to go meet them at such and such place, without their parents, and they would abduct and sexually molest these children, sometimes abducting them and unfortunately ending up killing them, which was wrong. But we tried to convince parents that they need to start monitoring their children's messages. And I've done that. I've had to monitor my daughter's messages. Every once in a while, I have to grab the cell phone and just kind of scroll through it a little bit. She didn't like it, but I did it a few times. My ex-wife, she does it. And so I'm very happy with, the steps we did to protect children. But I don't think parents are doing that anymore. I think there are so many parents that are wrapped up in their own lives that they're not spending time with their kids. There is no quantity or quality in the time that they spend with their kids. I think there are so many parents out there that are just so, oh, we had some good times here, now just leave me alone while I do this, this, and this. And that's got to stop. If you're a parent, you have the responsibility to take care of your kids. That is to protect them. And that is to learn from them, to understand them, to be able to see when something's wrong. If you cannot see when something's wrong, you're doing it wrong. All right? That's all I'm going to have to say about this. So everybody, if you see a child in duress who looks a little sad, help them out. Give them a place to vent. Sometimes what kids need most is somebody to talk to, somebody that will listen, somebody that will help them out, give them a little bit of advice. A lot of people that commit suicide do that because they feel that there's nothing else that they can do. They are powerless on the situation, and it is a way in their minds to end the pain for themselves and for them, for others around them. And it's not a coward's way out. Sometimes it just, the pain is so much, it's the only thing you can do. It's wrong. Let's protect the kids out there, everybody. So everybody take care. Be at peace.